Welcome back to Sunset Sessions, hosted by Marco Messina. And we've got the big dog in the house, Peter Schmeichel.
Marco, finally we do some work together, you know?
It feels like they separated now.
Yeah.
It's good to see you again.
And you.
Always back in Zadar, though.
Always back in Zadar, yeah. Yeah, in Italy. We also met in Italy.
Did we go to Italy? Yeah, we went to Copenhagen.
Yeah. And Copenhagen.
Copenhagen, that's right.
So, but finally we do some proper work.
This is the home
together.
base.
Yeah.
And you were at the first edition of the Sunset Sports Festival, right? And you've seen it progress. What do you think about year 4?
It's grown. It's grown a lot. It's I think it's changed in the way that it's more towards the public. There is it's more open. There are more interests. Whereas the first one was very direct. It was, you had a panel of whatever, and that was it. And then you either stayed or you walked away. But here you got different stations. You got a lot of different things to do other than just sit and listen to the panels. But I also think the quality of the panels are much higher. We've got people from everywhere in the world. I had the unbelievable pleasure to moderate a session with Alexander Djurzic, who.
How was that?
Who from 2010 and 2001, 2010 was voted the best goal-scoring footballer in the world. He scored the most goals in that period, and no disrespect to him, I've never heard of him. And then I was lucky enough to have 20 minutes before the session, and I was blown away by his story. And that's what this event should be able to provide, stories that blows you away. And when you look at the quality of the panels, there's a couple of things going on in this afternoon where you think, how is this even possible? So it's grown, and the quality is so much higher.
It blows me away that Peter Schmeichel, one of the best goalkeepers of all time, you get still excited by all these things. And you've created this career, and I just heard you on your panel, which was incredible to hear you talk. And you get so excited by these things, and you really made something different, and you learned a new skill. So you enjoy doing it.
I do enjoy it. I think what really is important for me, I'm in the panels, but I'm also here listening. What you sit there, you get inspired by people who do different jobs within the sporting world. I mean, the sporting world is not the sporting world; it's the world, and you have so much input. And if you come away here with 1 or 2 ideas that you can use in your work, it's worth the trip. Now, you flip that, I'm on the panel, so I also feel it's my job, it's my obligation to actually do the same thing. Can I give somebody just a little bit of inspiration about something? Well, if that happens, I'm very, very proud.
You were, even as somebody that has gotten to know you a little bit, the stories that you've told, the way that you interpret the game, your mindset too, when you're pitch side and you're able to get players to communicate in a way that you didn't experience before. Did you ever have a time when you were a player where you didn't like to interact with the media, and now do you see it from the reverse angle?
I have to be honest and say I absolutely hated being connected with people doing the job I'm doing today.
Really?
And because I felt like that, I'm trying to do it in a way where players are comfortable talking to me. So I really, at the very, very, very top of everything I do when it comes to players, talking to players, is I show them respect. I show them respect regardless of what they've done in the game, regardless of what the result was, where the team was, and all that. Show them respect. Don't insult them. Don't stir the pot just to get a headline or. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in getting for them to bring themselves into them, and they're comfortable, and that they tell me something that is important for them, not what's important for me. I never in my life, even as a footballer, I never chased the headline. I don't think that is important. I'm not chasing something that will go viral. Because at the end of the day, things that are going viral often has an edge to it that I'm not comfortable with, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I really do try to show people respect, and it's difficult. I'm not a trained journalist, So at times it's difficult. You know, where is the balance? Where's the boundary? You know, where am I justifying me being there with the microphone in my hand? And you know, so the balance is difficult to find. But so far, it's
And
been okay.
did you learn that from your experience of dealing with journalists who maybe didn't always have that same integrity that you had when you were a player, and then you came to appreciate it from the opposite side?
So of course, there's a lot of experience into this that I am bringing from my playing days. So a lot of that, but also when I retired, I did a lot of media training, and I was lucky enough to be employed by the BBC, which is the BBC. You do think everybody in the BBC, they do it like this. That's it. You don't go outside, but what you really do learn there is discipline.
Okay.
It's discipline within the art of broadcasting, if you like. So at the time when I connected with the BBC, they didn't have so many TV rights on football, but they had a lot of radio rights. So already my first year working for the BBC, my first year in retirement, I was co-commentating on radio. Now, the viewers, there's no viewers, the listeners, they don't see what I see. And it's so difficult. It's my second language as well, and you're sad. But back then, they were two commentators doing 22 and a half minutes on the dot each.
Really?
So the commentator would go ba 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 and explain what was happening, and you then have the maximum of 20-second slots where you come in, and in the beginning you're trying to build your point up, and then you learn very quickly you have to put your point out there first, and then you can sort of add little bits to it, because something happens on the pitch and they don't care. They just interrupt and carry on like you've said nothing, you know. And also, when you have a conversation like we have now, if I say something, very often you feel you have to react to that. And when you do radio, they don't react to what you say. It just stands, it stops there, poof, and they carry on. And that discipline was really difficult to learn, but I'm so happy that I had that experience, because you bring it into everything else that you do. So the next bit I did was I was hosting the Champions League in Denmark for 8 years. So you get to know in training as well how to ask questions, who to ask, you know, how all of that, of course, gives you so much experience. So I stopped doing that. I went back to punditry, which I enjoy most.
Okay.
Then you understand what his job is, you know. So you kind of, and then I now with CBS, I'm a pitch-side reporter, if you like, or on-site reporter. I now have all that experience, and I try to put that into that. So my playing experience, how I felt myself, all the lessons I've learned along the way, you know, make your point quick, all of these things, and then with the, you know, respect the people that you talk to, and then hopefully that's good for the viewers, and well, I've done it now for 5 years. I've been on the road for 5 years, and you see the progress by, first of all, where you are in the queue. So we're never host broadcasters, because we are American, of course. We're very, very close to the host broadcaster. They have preference because they get whoever they want in first, and very often we're second.
Okay.
And I think that is the power of the program, how it's constructed, how it is on social media. But I think us people who are there every time, they respect the show to everyone, plays a part as well.
Absolutely. One of the interesting things that I've learned working with former players, we have Mike Grella, who's on set with us on our City Out coverage. He played at Leeds, he played at New York Red Bulls. He said doing this job is the closest he's come to feeling like he's a player again. He said just like the preparation, the excitement you get right before covering a live game. You're smiling when I say that. You feel the same thing?
Yeah, I do. And this is the interesting part, because for 20 years I've done studio work. You know, I sat at the desk or stood at a table, and you go through very often just the same thing, really. You know, our program is of course different. There's a bit of banter, and then you get to a serious part where it's analysing the game, building up an expectation to the game, you know, getting the viewers into certain things that they should kind of pay attention to in the game. All of that, you've done that, done. And all of a sudden you're there. You can smell the grass. You actually see the players. You strike up relationship with the players from the number of times you see them, and all of a sudden you're kind of part of the game. It's never the same as playing, cannot be, but it's so nice to be out there. Game watched on location is a very different game to watch on TV. You don't see the same things. You don't have the same understanding of how good the team is or where their issues are. So just to bring an example into that is PSG, which is one of the teams that I have followed the most. It stems back to COVID because Paris was one of the places that you could actually travel to. So I've been at PSG games where they had all the Galacticos, the stars. There's no crowd, so you've actually heard the atmosphere between the players on the pitch. You've seen how it was 7 players working hard and 3 players not working at all, and you kind of know straight away by being there that this team can never win the Champions League. The competition is simply too strong. You need more work. You need more from everyone. Whereas if you watch that through a TV screen, when you see the 3 players not working, you see them with the ball and it looks good, and you think, wow, these guys are good.
But the other end,
exactly. But when you're on location, you kind of get a different feel, And I've been consistent in reporting on that. I don't think PSG can win. I think they need to change, and they did it this year. So,
and specifically, you were saying watching Dembélé, the way that he would pressure on Summer, and you saw that the turning point was the game against Man City, right? That you were at.
The turning point for PSG was the decision made by Mbappé to leave. And I mean, he's one of the greatest players in the world, most interesting players to watch. But he's also so many years at PSG, and he's the absolute star. When the president of the country is begging a player to stay at a club.
Oh,
hey,
hello. What's up? You want to take my spot?
I'm very
hey,
You got space for me here?
yeah.
What's up, Anita?
interview without me.
I thought you were leaving. You said you had to take a flight and go.
I always have time.
No, this is right in the spirit of what we do at CBS.
That's true.
Unpredictability.
You never know what's going to happen.
If you've got something to say, you just barge in and you take. I did this in the final because I was chasing. I had that thing, the super flash, where you have the armband and you have the card and you're on the pitch. And I was looking for Vitinha. I couldn't find him because I wanted to talk to him about something that he told me after that. No, actually, it was after the Man City game, where off camera he told me we can win this. And it came off, it's somewhere in an interview he said we're a better team now. And I asked him about that on camera, and it was a little bit, And then off camera I said, and he goes,
And he chased him down.
I think, because I wanted to ask him exactly that. And I saw he was at the desk, so I'm not sprinting. I wasn't sprinting, but I hurried.
You hurried.
Over there, and I didn't push Kate out of the way. I just barged in, and I said, I'm sorry. I've got to ask him this, and he's like.
But the rest of them all left. Then.
Yeah,
right. Jamie and Micah, they made it worse.
But it's in the spirit of what we do. The unpredictability and the staying in the moment, making it live, bringing the viewers as close as you can to the live event. So it's brilliant you are here now. I love the fact.
Take visit. I just wanted to come and say hi because, Peter and Anita.
I know, it's always you two. I'm getting jealous every time I see you guys together. And people want to know at home too, for both of you, since you're always on with the Champions League crew.
Yeah.
Are Jamie and Mike, are they always messing around off camera as they are on camera? Is it always fun and
a little bit? You think it's an act. Some of it is. But it's also personalities, they bring their personalities in. See, I've known Micah since he was a kid, because he was in the academy with my son. So I've known him. So what you see is it's a developed personality, but it's him.
Okay.
It's very, very honest to him. I remember saying to him, because what we do, we hear the program, we hear the whole way through. We have that in our ears, and we watch most of it as well. But we also do different things, trying to get people to asking about this, a lot of things. So whenever Micah was, he's kind of, oh, and he's very vocal, and it works on TV, right? But when he was analysing in the beginning, he went, and then he goes down to, and because of the change of tone and pace, when you're listening to it, he loses credibility. And I said this to him, I said, Micah, when I'm listening to it, I know you know your stuff and what you're saying is very good, but because the difference of when you are Micah to when you analyse, because of the difference in tone, you kind of lose credibility. You have to find a medium. And he said to me the other day, I don't know if you heard that, when he was in was he in Paris? No. When he was next to me, he said, I never forget what you said.
Really?
And I said, well, I'm really, really happy that you listened to that, because I hear the difference now. Your credibility is absolutely there. We like the way you are, you're loud, you're brash, you're all of that. But when you talk about football, I believe you. I really do believe you. And that's important, because you can't be a pundit without that kind of credibility. You can't just be a loud guy and a funny guy. You've got to have that, and that's why it works, because they all have that credibility. That's when I say it's not, a little bit of it is an act, but they bring the personalities into it.
So I do have to get a flight. Before we go, if we have to go to
Are we going?
you're doing the interviews for me next season. It's going up in the Champions League. I'm going to leave the mic to you. It's going to be your show. I'll just be there next to you.
I think you got to do them. If Peter says you got to do them, then you got to do them.
I would, I'm joking.
The Arsenal fan.
Yeah. I love that interview. I love the fact, I love that, have you watched the interview that she did with, so you asked the right questions. I have no idea why he came out with the answers that he did. But your reaction, not what you said, but your reaction to it was so good, and it was, you never disrespected him. You just went.
What did you think in the moment when he was saying it?
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I was calm. I was perplexed, because obviously when we're watching a game, we calm down, so we might miss a few seconds. But we also had a screen, and I remember seeing the end of the match, Kim shaking hands with Luis Enrique. I didn't see much of an exchange. So I'm thinking, who's told him that Arsenal played better? What did I miss? So that's literally what my mind said. What did I miss?
Did you doubt yourself to ask a question again?
No.
Did you at all?
If you'd added a question to that, or you gone into a question that you would have lost it. That would have, he would have come up with, it would have been ugly in a way, and something that it wouldn't suit you, and it definitely wouldn't have suited him, and it would just have been. But that look was everything. It was brilliant. It was really good TV.
Wow.
Because you really seriously, it was such an honest reaction, and it was. I mean, Christ.
What'd you think when? What'd you think when you saw it going viral?
To be honest, because a lot of people didn't think I was an Arsenal fan. Like, a lot of the Arsenal fan base weren't happy with me.
Really?
Yeah, I got a lot of.
Why? Because you went back too strong? Is that what they're saying?
They were just like, if you're an Arsenal fan, why would you put your manager in that position? And it's like, obviously you have to distance yourself.
Of course.
And be objective. So, and Mikel, I'm pretty sure knows I'm an Arsenal fan as well. So.
But I think if I could give you one bit of advice for work, going forward in your work, don't read them comments. Don't ever read anything, ever.
Sometimes it's hard to not see it though.
Well, I never do it. I never do. The thing about all the comments is that some people are very nice and they will praise you for what you do, but a lot of people will just say, "Well, that was brilliant." Just say that to themselves, and then we'll move on, right? Yeah. But when people are angry with you, they will put in. So a lot of what you see is negative.
Yeah.
And you don't need to see it, because even though it can feel overwhelming. Oh, my 200 people have written this. It might be the only 200 people in the world. Yeah.
And 1,000 people loved it.
I say this I've said this consistently to my son. Don't read what people write about your performances.
I'm really sorry, I have to run to catch my flight.
Okay, go.
I wanted to say hi.
And nice that you dropped it. Have a safe flight. Be good.
Bye.
Well,
Make sure she does the questions to Tottenham next year. All right?
That's good.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, she is.
Fantastic.
So talented.
100%.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it. I didn't see it live, but then I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, Anita, I'm so proud of you for being able to. And it's not easy. It's not easy.
No, it's a really
push back.
difficult situation.
And you've been in those situations too.
And think about this as well. So we only have this amount of time post-match, right? So Arsenal's just been knocked out. Yes, it's really important that you get Arteta. This is a 2.5-minute interview, by the way. It's a long interview to fit in a program from a loser's manager, right? You really have to love Arsenal to think that the way it panned out was brilliant. Our focus was, of course, on PSG. So Anita's in super flash, and I'm on the pitch with the camera there. So we got Hakimi live straight in. We got Donnarumma, actually not in the interviews, but Donnarumma came over, a big hug. All of that, which again is bringing the viewers very close. We've got the PA of Nasser, the owner of PSG, coming over to me and said, "Do you want him on?" Yeah, I said, "Of course." So he's on. So that's where the program's focus is, on celebrating the winner.
Love that.
Now, this interview would be like a real sort of downer, but because of that one moment, it's absolutely perfect. And it's, when you talk about balance, that was balance, and it was beautiful. That look, and I urge everybody to go and find that. That look is like better than the top 100 questions best top 100 questions ever asked. 100%. That look just said everything.
And you've been, unfortunately, with Manchester United, you've been in that situation a lot too, where you have to have the tough conversation. And you, icon of Man United, is it sometimes tough for you too? Because
very tough.
Criticizing.
So I did the Europa League final in Bilbao, and I was interviewing Ruben Amorim before the game, and what do you ask the guy before the game, So I was trying to sort of bring myself into it and, bring a bit of Man United and also a little bit of assurances, because what's on the line here is massive, really, really massive. But it's a final, and with football experience, you know how a final can go. You might not win this game, and then, because what he did was he said in his press conference the day before, Champions League will change the summer. To get to Champions League, to win the final, will change the summer, but it won't solve the problems. So that's a big one, right? So what he's saying there, we have massive problems. Massive problems. That statement carries that. So I asked him, I said, the Champions League, you say will change the summer, but it won't solve the problems. Now, we know it's a final. It could go either way. What if it doesn't go our way? Will you still be the manager next year?
That's a tough question.
I think that was a really good question, because I was asking as a fan.
Yeah.
I'm asking. I honestly could not, as a fan, face having to bring another manager in. And I kind of like Ruben. It's been tough for him, and I think he's dealt with it really, really good. It reminds me a little bit of when Sir Alex Ferguson came to the club, the same kind of pressure that he was under. That lasted for nearly 4 years, by the way. How he was dealing with the media and how he was working behind the scene and just getting things better and better. You don't move a massive, massive club like that in one turn. It takes forever. It takes a long time. There's so many adjustments you need to do, and it all has to click. So we from the outside don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. And you don't come out and say, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing, So you need to give it time. So that's why that question became really important to me. So that was fine before the game. After the game, it's the only interview I did. What do you ask him? What do you ask him? He had probably just watched his team in the worst performance of the year. It felt like the players saw that game as irrelevant. You say it's fine to lose a game, it's fine to lose a final if you've left everything on the pitch. They left nothing on the pitch. What do you ask the manager? Are you disappointed? That was tough. And again, I can't remember being so down after. We lost 19 games in the Premier League. I cannot remember being more down than that. So I'm a professional broadcaster. I'm a on-site reporter. My job is to interview whoever I have to interview. I cannot let my own feelings getting into it. and it's difficult. It's next to impossible. I don't think that interview that I did with him will go over in history as a good one. I don't think so, but
it had to be done.
It had to be done.
So you think you see similarities between him and Sir Alex, or just situation-wise?
Yeah, I think the situations are similar in terms of where they pick up the club and
give time.
And the job that needs to be done. Of course, football is now different. Football's played in a different. There's a lot of things that are so different so you can't compare. It's really, actually, I always felt that I feel that it's impossible to compare over time players or systems or managers. But the situation is quite similar. The club is, at the lowest, and they need to be picked up again. And you need somebody who's strong, who can stand in front of everybody else, and just show leadership and good communication, and to comfort someone like me who is a fan, has been a fan all my life, and give me hope. And at the moment, he's doing that.
Fair enough.
I think the problem's the way the club is structured, and there are some news at the moment where, again, another big change at the top. Dave Brailsford's leaving, apparently. That was in the Times yesterday. All of that worries me. It just worries me a lot.
Do they ever ask you or some of the old legends to be involved?
Yeah, I mean, Dave. So Dave has asked me a lot. Before they came in, I was advising Richard Arnold, who was the CEO. So I've been kind of involved a little bit on an advisory sort of level. But now Dave, if that's the truth, he leaves. I know nobody that I can advise. It scares me a little bit that the lack of somebody like me. I'm not saying me necessarily, but somebody like me who has been around the football club, been in the building of a good time, and been around the football club I've been an ambassador for the club for many, many years, that understands the inside workings of how it's supposed to be when it's good, but also understands how difficult it is to actually perform for Man United. And we are quite a lot of former players who could advise and point in certain directions and make people who's never been in that situation understand how difficult it is. Because you wonder why players, this is what people see, right? You wonder why players who are so good are not so good when they come to Man United. But it's the pressure of being a Man United player is immense. So we lose to Tottenham, for instance, in the Europa League final. Who remembers that? People remember Man United losing it. That's a narrative. That's everywhere in the world. Yeah, Tottenham won a trophy. That's fine. Congratulations. But it's why did Man United not win it? That's everywhere. That's a story, and that tells you how the world is around Man United. Everything that's been done with Man United, every result, every mistake made by a player is amplified, and it's reverberating around the world like this all the time. And it goes on until you don't make a mistake. Now, if you make a mistake for Tottenham, it's in the newspaper the next day, but it's not carrying on. And that's the difference between playing for Man United and playing for other clubs. It's relentless. And if you're not strong mentally, if you're not supported and nurtured from within the club, you're going to suffocate. It's going to be so difficult. This is why it was brilliant to work for somebody like Sir Alex Ferguson, the chairman, Martin Edwards as well. You felt protected. You felt that, when you do your job, you are protected. Of course, if you're not good enough, you will be moved on. But you have to be a certain character to play for the club. And then once you're in, you have to be held by the club. And that's what happened when Sir Alex was there. Now I feel there are too many people in important situations who don't understand that yet. And they're getting all this criticism now through the media. And it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to affect them in decision making going forward. But they're not there to protect Ruben and the players. And this is where my big worries are.
And you lack the culture of the club. I remember I was told the story about Paolo Maldini, who obviously is synonymous with Milan, that there was a young kid that used to come to Milan. He would take them by the hand, he'd walk them around. He said, at Milan, this is what we do. This is how we act. This is how we dress. This is how we respond. This is the car that we drive to training.
Yeah.
And it feels like also that's a little bit lost at United.
When I came to Old Trafford the first time, I'm thinking I'm now going to sit with the chairman and I'm going to sign a contract. That's what I'm going to do. So I get to his office. He's never met me before. We shake hands and he said, come. So we went 2 hours in the museum, went through everything, make sure I understood exactly what my responsibilities would be if I signed this contract. He wanted to see that. He wanted to look me in the eyes.
Wow.
He wanted to understand who I was and if I was capable of doing that. So I knew, before I even put pen to paper, I knew what my job would be and what the heritage I had to carry on to the next generation and the responsibilities I had to take upon myself becoming a Manchester United player.
Did you feel nervous in that moment when you were doing that? Did it feel like a weight on your shoulder, or was it something that pumped you up and got you really excited?
No, I got really excited about that, really excited. I'm not somebody who's ever felt pressure. I've never felt that it was too big, or I always felt at my best when it was a challenge and something, because I had to convince everybody, my parents, everybody, that what I wanted to do with my life. I only wanted to do one thing, right from when I can remember. I only wanted to do one thing, and that was play for Man United. That was the only thing I wanted in my life. The add-ons to that was like, I also want to play for Denmark and all of that, but Man United was my focal point. Now, I was born in '63. I was 15 years old when they changed the law, and the law that was changed was that everything had to be amateur. So the job that I wanted didn't even exist for 15 years of my life. And then, of course, they changed the law. It takes a long time for that to sort of have an impact on the system. So not until like actually 10 years later, was that job available. I'm already into my professional career by then. And I had to convince everybody that this is what I wanted to do, and especially my parents. My father wanted me to be a pianist. He was forcing me on the piano all the time. No, I want to play football. No one believed that this could happen. I mean, you're from Denmark. No one signs a Danish goalkeeper. So at every junction, I had to convince people that this is what I do. I had to convince them that I'm good enough. And I had to convince them that I wasn't crazy. So that became part of my nature, that it's a challenge.
I'll take the challenge. On your shoulder.
Yeah. Not necessarily that. No, because I think that carries kind of sort of a negative thing and a bit of arrogance. It was never that. It was just, if people said this can't be done, I would make it happen, because I knew it could be done. So I had all these little sort of fights I had to win along the way. So when I went through the museum, for me, this is the real thing. This is what I wanted to do. I want to be one of the guys who protects all these players. There's a lot of players there who lost their lives for the club in 1958. I want to be one of the guys that brings their legacy into the next period of Manchester United. And I loved it, absolutely loved it. And, you can talk about Man United culture forever. I couldn't explain to you what Man United culture is, other than is that we do everything in our powers to win, but it changes obviously with generations, personalities, and all that. So you can't just say it's one thing. But what it is you do everything you can in your power to win. So even though that it looks, so impossible, you're still trying your very, very best.
Absolutely. So
just to give you an example of how that is not there, when you look at that final against Tottenham, we put Harry Maguire up front because he's one of those culture barriers for me. He understands Man United. Now I'm going full risk mode. I'm going up there. Now what is the rest of the team doing? They're not changing. They're just the same thing. No one's taking the responsibility of trying to create a situation where you can score a goal. Harry's up there, get the ball up into the box, put some more people up there, this is what Man United's always done in their most successful years. And we have only ever seen that once in the last couple of years, and that was in the game against Lyon, when we were 4-2 down into extra time, and the game seemed to be lost. And then what happened? In 7 minutes, we scored 3 goals and won the game 5-4.
That's the old Man United.
Exactly. And I'm thinking, there's your turning point. Now the players understand.
But I had to step back.
It's difficult to explain, and it's difficult because everyone is under such an immense pressure from everywhere in the world. And I think, and this is human nature, I think, if you're not the strongest person, the strongest mentally, you are afraid to take that responsibility upon yourself, because it requires you to be brave, to break that pattern and to break out of that and actually go and do something which is different and something that will surprise your opponent. But what Tottenham did, they just defended, they read as well, and they didn't really have to work hard to win that game. So yeah, there you go.
You said that you had to convince your parents, right, that was your dream. The images of you and Kasper are so cute. Even when he was a boy and he's in Old Trafford, and you know you guys are holding hands. That shot is something that's in my mind. And then to see where he's gone with his career, and then for it to also come full circle, and you as a broadcaster, you're able to interview him.
Yeah.
Just talk me through that.
No, they are incredible moments. So I've interviewed Kasper, just to start there, in the World Cup, and I've also interviewed him in the Champions League. So just the fact that my son has played the World Cup, European Championship, and interviewed him in the European Championship, and played the Champions League. I mean, come on, you know, these are really, really proud moments for me. But he's also won the FA Cup, which was one of the dreams that I had as a kid, was to win the FA Cup. Because the FA Cup was broadcasted in its entirety, every round was on Danish TV. So it became a really, really big tournament in our country. So I wanted to win that. And I managed to do that. I mean, I played in a great team, so it was expected of us. But Kasper won it with Leicester. It was never expected of Leicester to win the FA Cup. So he won that. I mean, and Kasper played an absolute blind in that game as well. So of course, I'm very, very proud. But they won the Premier League with Leicester. And I have to say, for everything that I've done in football, everything, and I played with incredible players, against incredible players. I won literally every trophy apart from the World Cup that I competed for. To be on the pitch that day at the King Power Stadium in Leicester, and to watch my son lift that trophy, that is the proudest moment I have of all my footballing life. So yes, I mean, unbelievable. I love this story. There's a story. So 2 years prior to this event, where they win it, 2 years prior, I live in Denmark by then. I'm taking a group of friends across to Old Trafford to watch a game. We're in a box, and Kasper doesn't have a game that day, so I asked him to come and be part of this group, and he did. It was incredible. At this point, this is the last time we are defending champions. So when we have a trophy, we defend the trophy. It always goes around every box, and there's a photographer following, the trophy. So you can have a photograph taken with the trophy, and and it gets to our box. The Premier League trophy gets to our box, and everyone is very brilliant. But Kasper's kind of reluctant. He's over here. At this point, he's with Leicester and then the Championship. They're not even in the Premier League. They're in the Championship, but they're doing well. It looks like they're going to be promoted. So they all go, "Come on, Kasper, come on." No, you go, "No, I don't. Come on." And he goes, "Okay." And then he sat there with the trophy and everyone around him. And he goes, "But next time I'm being photographed with this, that's because I won it."
No way.
So they win promotion. They have a season where they are rock bottom all the way. At Christmas, they're rock bottom. No team has ever survived the Premier League being rock bottom at Christmas. They've got 11 games to go. They're rock bottom. And they go on this unbelievable run where they win 9 and draw 1 and lose 1 game to finish 14th, I think, in the Premier League. And then the next year they win it.
incredible.
From the next time he was photographed with the trophy was because he'd won it.
Wow. What a beautiful story. Came full circle.
Came full circle.
Wow. What's your one of your best memories or funnest memory working at CBS? Because you've had a lot. There's so many in the studio, but is there one that sticks out in particular?
There's maybe not one, but when we first started out, I get a phone call from my agent, you know. CBS in America's got the rights, you know, they've got the rights, and you know they want you on. Do you fancy? Yeah. And the next day, or even the same day, there's a Zoom conversation with Pete Radovich, and it's all really, really quick. We want you on board, blah blah. And this is in lockdown, COVID, and the end games. There's a lot of games. There's a few games not been played yet. They decided, UEFA decided to finish all the games in Lisbon. There are two stadiums, only like a mile apart. The Estádio da Luz and the Sporting Stadium. And they say, you're going there. All right? Yeah, fine. So I'm one of 200 people who actually goes and watches the end game.
That's pretty cool.
I felt incredibly privileged that I was there. And it was the beginning of what has happened since. And I always look back to that period where, whoa, I got picked by someone in America to go here. And I'm one of 200 people who are allowed into the stadium. I mean, this is incredible, you know? So we go through this period of lockdown. So I've said about Paris, I got to Paris quite a lot because you could go to Paris. So you get these incredible experiences where you see something and you hear something that you normally wouldn't do because of crowd noise, for instance. So the beginning of my time with CBS, I actually got to know the players, who they were. For instance, Thomas Müller. This is a good example. Thomas Müller is somebody, you know, he's up here, won the Champions League so many times. He's just an incredible player, and you know that. He's renowned for always finding the space. Yeah. He's always in a pocket that you can never find out where he is. And you know that because you've seen that, right? But what was added to that in Lisbon was the voice. This guy is talking non-stop, even when he's running, even when he gets into these positions, he talks and helps his teammate. And that was a revelation. Oh my God, he's just added an extra layer to that. So that for me was something completely new. When you play, you hear a lot of noise and all that, but you don't listen to what they're saying because you're focused on what. Now I added this extra bit, and for me that was really, really big.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and of course you get in a lot of interviews. One of the funniest interviews I've taken, what I've actually conducted, was with Donnarumma.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'm speaking to Donnarumma all the time. He speaks English. So I'm asking the first question, and he's actually hooked up with the studio as well.
Okay.
And he replies in Italian. And I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? So and then the next question comes, but on socials, on CBS socials, they put this out as a gimmick, and they focus on me, and they're kind of writing what I'm thinking. Oh yeah, I understand. But what they didn't know was what they put out, what I was thinking, was exactly what I was thinking at the time.
That's funny.
And it's so funny. So for me, that's kind of funny.
That's great.
Yeah.
One last thing, since it's about Italian keepers, I saw Gianluigi Buffon said that they need to make the goal a little bit bigger. Did you see this?
For Donnarumma?
No, not for Donnarumma. In general, he said we need to make so that there's more goals and things like that. Do you agree? Or maybe he's trying to protect his records so that they score a little bit more goals.
I think that is definitely protecting his legacy. I've been involved in discussions about making them smaller, but discussions based on women's football. How do we improve goalkeeping and all that? And my view has always been I mean, for me, don't change it.
Don't change it.
No, don't change it. And don't change it for the women, because I kind of always felt if you make the goals smaller, it's kind of degrading for the women. It's telling women that you can't play football. You're not good enough to defend. I would much rather, go in and spend a lot of energy on how do you improve goalkeeping.
Okay.
And I think it's already happening, and I'm glad they never made the decision, because I really I feel that it wasn't the right thing to do. And I use the same argument. Just make the strikers better. Just take chances in different areas.
Absolutely.
Just have more shots, So don't change it.
Fair enough.
Gigi is he's protecting him.
Exactly. He doesn't want anyone to overtake him. Peter, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoy the rest of your time in Zadar and at the Sunset Sports Festival.
I don't know if all that noise is going through, but
I think it's for you. They're listening.
Yeah.
Thank you, Peter.
Well done.
Appreciate you. Bravo.